boys and girls. I wanted to make a quick video to review what we do with remainders in a story problem. So I have two examples here. If I can just move this so you guys can see. I'm sorry, it's really hard to adjust my camera so you can see the entire chart without the sun glare getting in the way. There we go. So I have two different word problems here. I will read them to you because it might be hard to see in the video. Both of these word problems are requiring you to solve the same division problem. So let's look at the division problem first. The division problem is 88 divided by 5, which I solved using partial quotients to get an answer of 17 remainder 3. So let me pull this off so you can see. Okay, so you can see my work. So I wrote 88 in the box, and then I wrote 5 on the outside. That's the divisor. So I'm dividing 88 into 5 equal groups. And you can see that I'm left with 3 at the bottom. I can't divide 3 by 5 because 5 is bigger than 3. So that tells me as a mathematician that I'm going to have a remainder. So I added all my factors on the side. 10 plus 5 plus 2 is 17, which gives me an answer of 17 remainder 3. So 88 divided by 5 is the division problem that we're going to solve in both of the word problems. However, just writing the answer, 17 remainder 3, is not going to be enough to answer the actual question in the story problem, which I'm noticing some of you are forgetting to think about in the Google form today for solving 4-digit by 1-digit division problems. So let's look at problem number 1. I know you can't see, so I'm going to pull it away. Matthew, can you get that for me? Okay, so the problem is Claire has 88 cookies. She wants to share them equally with 5 friends. How many cookies will they get? So we know the division problem is 88 divided by 5, which we already solved, and we know the answer is 17 remainder 3. However, that doesn't tell us how many cookies each of the 5 friends will get because we have a remainder. We have 3 cookies left over. So in class, we learned that there are 3 different things we can do with remainders. Sometimes we can break apart the remainder if it's something that can be divided equally, like cookies or crackers or so on and so forth. Sometimes we need to round up, which you guys are going to see in the second problem, and I'll give you an example of that. And then sometimes we just have to leave the remainder as is because it can't be divided equally. So this is an example of a word problem where the remainder can be shared. Our object in the story problem is cookies. We can break cookies apart evenly, and I did that for you in this picture. So the 3 circles that I drew represent the 3 cookies that are left over. Because there are 5 friends, I used 5 different colors in each cookie to show how each friend is going to get 1 piece. So because there are 5 friends, I divided each circle into 5 equal parts, and then I shaded each 5th because we divided the circle into 5 equal parts, so that would be fifths. I colored each 5th a different color to show each friend is getting 1/5 of the cookie. And then I did that 2 more times because there are 3 cookies. So if you look at the orange, because I think that's a color you can see hopefully on your end. If I look at the orange, I can see that there are 3 orange pieces, which would be 3/5 because each orange piece is worth 1/5. So if I do that with all the colors, I can see that each of the 5 friends can equally share the 3 remaining cookies because each friend will get 3/5. So I know it's a little hard to see on my Post-it, but our answer to the story problem would be 17 3/5. cookies. Okay, so notice how for my answer, I didn't just write 17 remainder 3. I thought about what the word problem was asking, and then I realized that cookies would be an example of something that we can share if we have a remainder. Ooh. Okay, so my answer to this word problem would be 17 3/5 cookies. So the next example is an example of a problem with a remainder where we need to think about what the story problem is asking us and then round up. So the problem is, there are 88 people going to the zoo. 5 people can fit in a car. How many cars will 88 people need? So I wrote this story problem thinking about us going to the zoo. So we can imagine that people could be us, students. We're all going to the zoo, and 5 students can sit in a car. So we need to figure out how many cars will 88 people need, or how many cars will 88 students need? So the division problem would be 88 divided by 5, which is 17 remainder 3. And I already solved that here. However, 17 remainder 3 doesn't answer my story problem question. It doesn't tell me how many cars we will need. So this is an example of a division problem with a remainder where we have to round up. So I wrote my answer would be 18 cars. So the remaining 3 people could go in the 18th car. Okay, so we would need not 17 cars, but 18 cars. If we only took 17 cars, that would mean that 3 people wouldn't be able to go on the trip. So we would need an 18th car. And then in class, some of you may remember that I taught you to write in your answer that the 18th car would not be full. Some of you might be remembering when we did this in class, our story problem example that I just showed you was with vans. So maybe that clicks in some of your heads that we did this with vans, and we learned that we needed to round up so that way the remaining people could fit in the last van that wouldn't be completely full. So there's a third kind of remainder, and that's when we can't divide it equally. The story problem isn't asking us to round up. So then the answer would just be 17 with 3 left over. Or we could say something like 17 with 3 extras. So hopefully this helps you guys today when you are answering your questions in your Google form. As always, if you have specific questions about anything, you can ask them in the questions about the lesson tab under classwork. You could also have your parent email me. I know I've been writing this a lot in the lesson plan, but don't worry if you are marked wrong on your Google form because of a label or because you didn't put a space between a number and a label. I go through every form myself after everyone has submitted them, and then I correct any answer that I think is correct but was marked incorrect because of a label. So don't worry, I always look at your forms. If I see that you were on the right track or if I know what you were trying to say, I will mark you as correct. The only issue that I'm having right now is because New Milford changed our email platform. So we're not using Outlook, we're using Gmail. My email address is still the same, but for some reason, ever since we changed platforms, I have been unable to release your updated score to you. So please know that that does not mean I'm not correcting them. I am. I'm just not able to release the score to you for some reason. If you ever really, really want to know what your updated score was, you can just ask me in the questions tab if you feel comfortable with me sharing your score. Excuse me, or you could have your parent email me and I could share your updated score with your parent. So just keep that in mind. Don't worry, I always check everything. I know that technology doesn't always play nice, and I'm trying to work with that the best that I can. And please just feel free to keep asking questions when you're unsure. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.